Hello, everybody. Welcome, wherever you're joining us from, anywhere in the world. Good morning, good evening. Thanks for stopping by the channel. Really appreciate it. My name is Sterling, psychic medium, and this is a series of shows that we're putting together. Really just try to answer a lot of questions that I received during sessions and things that we think will be helpful kind of in, let's say, the overall spiritual journey. So that's kind of how we put these shows together. They're kind of fast and quick and to the point. And so far, I think it's being received the way we're offering it up. A couple of quick things I just want to talk about. In this particular show, I want to talk about the Akashic Records. We'll spend some time talking about that. We'll also do another brand new top 10 countdown and want to talk a little bit about the ongoing contest that we have running. So every time we reach a new 1,000 subscriber level, I select a new winner for a half-hour session with myself. So during the last week, we actually went up another 1,000. Now we're at 13,000 subscribers. So the next winner I'm announcing right now is Desiree W. So first name is Desiree, and then last name initial W. So Desiree, please contact our offices, info@sterlingpsychicmedium.com, and I'd be happy to set that up for you. So congratulations, well done. So let's shift into talking a little bit about the Akashic Records. And this is something that's very important to a lot of, spiritual teachings, a lot of basis in understanding how the universe works. So I thought it'd be helpful, kind of generate a list of questions that I see come up all the time. We thought we'd run through some of them, and then we'll get to the top 10 countdown. So one of the first questions is, can you describe the place that houses the Akashic Records? So the Akashic Records are really contained almost in a lattice structure in the universe. They're actually in an energy plane in the universe. A lattice structure, if you think about a lattice structure, you can think about things like crystals. Crystals are made up, in fact, of a lot of different lattice. There's 7 different types of lattice structures, all based on cell formation. But the Akashic Records are really almost like an energy plane. You can almost think about it in terms of computer memory. It's a lot of electrical energy that's stored that in its construct has real information about both the past, the present, and the future for all things in the universe, everybody, everything. So we come back to that later if we need to. Are there more than one Akashic Records? No, they're not. There's one master record for all things, all souls, all beings. So in that sense, there isn't another master Akashic Records, if you will. So it's really just one record. What does the record itself look like? Well, it's interesting. It's pure information being housed in kind of a pure energy plane. And the way it works is that the Akashic Records actually transmit information in the way that's most convenient to whoever is accessing them. Whatever soul is accessing the information is how that information is put across. So it's pure energy, it's pure information. And depending on the language or symbology that the soul needs to understand, the information will be conveyed in a way that that person can understand it. It's also important, I think I've said this up front, but all the information that I'm sharing with you right now comes directly through my guides and angels, a very large group. So this is not information that comes from a book or reading. I never claimed to be an expert in any of these areas, but I kind of wanted to share what my guides and angels were sharing with you. So that's really where all this comes from. Do all records in the Akashic Records contain good and bad things we do? They do, yes. So all things that occur in the universe, whether they're good or bad, for all souls, they are contained and they are recorded in the Akashic Records. How can we visit the Akashic Records? So there are a number of techniques for doing that. Most of it involves a very specific type of meditation and then aligning with your guides and angels that really become your stewards. So there's a bit of a stewardship that's required to access the Akashic Records. And so it takes a little bit of practice in doing that. Everybody can do it. And you really have access to your soul records. If you're trying to look at another individual's soul records, it always requires permission from the other soul. So it's a little bit of practice, but there's a stewardship involved in accessing the records. Do other species such as aliens have Akashic Records? They do. and I touched on it earlier. So all alien species, all beings, all energies, all souls have a record, and it's everything for the past, present, and all future. One thing that I think is worth mentioning, people ask all the time what the linkage is between the past, present, the future, and is there some ability to change the future? You might think about it in terms of, a good analogy is a rope. You might connect, let's say, a rope at each end. You can take a long, 10-foot rope, attach each end. Now you can kind of jiggle that rope around, if you will, in the middle, and it may create waves and things of that nature. But the rope is still completely interconnected and still makes it from point A to point B. So the future is determined. There's certainly a little bit of variability as you go through life, but everything is connected. If you just in terms of one continuous rope, if you will, continuous stream, everything is interconnected, past, present, future. I hope that's a helpful analogy. Are we able to see the past, present, and future? So sorry for some of the redundancy here, but these questions come up all the time. The answer is yes. But you really, if you want to look at other souls' energy, you need their permission. Can we make changes to our records? Here again, in my experience, everything is pretty well destined, but you do have an ability to make some minor modifications, but you're still on the same path. Everything still occurs the way it's supposed to, but you may be able to move, let's say, energy a little bit to one side or the other in terms of how you get through life. You may end up achieving some tasks faster than you would, or slower, but you're still kind of on the same path that determines that future. Who maintains the Akashic records? Well, my experience, what I can tell, is there are a number of angelic beings. They're almost called the keepers of the Akashic records, if you will. The Akashic records were developed by the One Force in the very beginning, and in fact, there continue to be a dynamic living document, if you will. But there are angelic forces that act as kind of the keepers of the records. Is there a way that all of us can know how many lives we have lived? Yes, it's my understanding easily that information is contained in the Akashic records, and just by accessing the records, by doing a little bit of practice we talked about earlier, you actually can get to that information. So it is contained there. So I hope that was helpful. Just a quick look at the Akashic records and kind of what they're all about. Again, not an expert, but just sharing you with the information that comes through from my guides. So let's go to this week's, if you will, top 10 countdown of a lot of questions that I get all the time, and hopefully these are helpful to you too. Number 10, when people are in a coma, where are their souls? When we sleep, do our souls travel outside our bodies? So when you're in a coma, your soul has the ability to detach from the body, and actually you have a number of things that you can do. You can astral travel quite easily. If it's a situation you're in a coma because of a very important or very critical medical problem, you may in fact be conversing with your angels and guides, and they may in fact be asking you if this is a time that you want to exit. So the soul, many times if you're in a coma, will detach from the body and experiment with some other dimensional areas. It's not always a defined thing, but you do have some ability to astral travel, communicate with your guides, and determine if you want to stay around. Number 9 in our countdown of the 10 most popular questions. During the shift or ascension, do we feel the collective energy? Whenever this question gets asked, I'm pretty sure they're referring to the fact that the veil is getting very thin to the other side. A lot of people are experiencing an elevation, their spiritual energy. And so during kind of this whole shift, many people do become more empathetic and do in fact take in energy from other people. So if we're talking about collective energy, say collective human spirit energy, you will certainly feel that. You both feel the good and the not so good, if you will. So it's very real, but as you ascend, it's always good to take say a very quick protective prayer, and that just ensures that that you only get the right kind of energy coming your direction. Number 8 in our countdown. When someone passes on, do the guardian angels or spirit guides in charge of that soul have a time of reflection, rejoicing for the spirit they helped? Absolutely, because what happens is that when we're here on the planet and your guides are working with you. Your guides, it's a very symbiotic relationship. So when you win, your guides win. When you learn, your guides learn. So it's very, very, close collaborative relationship. And certainly when you finally do pass, there's a rejoicing that you got through everything together. So that's very true. Number 7, is it true that we clear karmic patterns for ourselves and our ancestors that came before us? Well, whenever the question comes up about karma, it's really about lessons that are to be learned. It's not it doesn't have a negative connotation. I think many people assign a negative connotation to karma. I'm in this life working out some bad karma, or my ancestors, had some bad karma. Really, what it's all about, you're working off lessons you've decided to learn in the blueprint before you came down here, the blueprint for your soul. And so karma does have a negative connotation. It's the lessons that you selected. And in no case do I ever see that you're working off quote unquote karma from your ancestors, from others. It's all about your lessons. So number 6, I worked in a hospice. Why do some people hang on so long to life without food or water? Well, as you get towards end of life, what happens is you start to shift more towards a spiritual dimension. Your metabolism can slow way down, almost shut down, and the energy requirements for your body can become much, much less. So in part, that's some of the reason why, as people get closer to crossing or passing over, that's one of the reasons that you may observe that. Number 5, how do we stop negativity in our lives? Well, the whole universe runs on love and fear. So spend a lot more time on the love side, and less time on the fear side, which is, false evidence appearing real. And when you do that, you actually end up aligning yourself with good energy and actually able to kind of push off, much more. The negativity doesn't seem to get attracted to you. So, it's a little bit of a practical way of moving through life, but it's a good way to kind of keep negativity away from you. Number 4, what are aliens doing in our oceans? Do they have labs under the ocean? Are they helping with our polluted waters? Yes to all the above. So aliens, the ones that have been here millions of years, many species, do have underground bases and labs underwater. And they've used this particular area on Earth because it's a lot easier to kind of protect things they have going on there. It's kind of a shield of protection, so to speak. Very deep underwaters. There's areas haven't even been explored yet by mankind, and that's where a lot of these bases are. So it's very true, they are. And many of them are benevolent aliens, and they are actually helping to save the planet and water and fish and all the sorts of beings that live within the ocean. Absolutely. Number 3, our top 10 countdown. How do we discover what gifts we have? Well, there's a simple way to do it. You just ask. Ask your guides, ask your angels. Most everybody's born a psychic medium, and then you kind of put it down by 5 or 6 years old. But some of us have healing ability. Some of us may have other types of ability. But, just ask. And, the longest journeys start with the first step. So as you align yourself with your guides and angels, ask them what abilities that you can bring forward and things that you're good at, and they will help you with that. So it's a bit of an exploratory process, but, take the first step, and then you'll learn by doing. Number 2 in our countdown, do those who die from COVID die alone? Absolutely not. And what's interesting is we get closer to departing, moving to the other side. What happens is that our guides, angels, and family members actually do come. You're seeing Mr. Bentley walk through here. Our guides do, in fact, come to us. Family members come to us, and so you're really not passing at all in an alone state. You actually have a lot of people there to greet you, and even though it's difficult for people on this side, on the human side, if you will, to understand what's happening as you're passing people from COVID-19, a lot of family members and angels are there to greet you and guide you over. So it's a wonderful process. And the number 1 question we get in our countdown is, why can't readers read for themselves? Well, it's a little like the old adage, doctors can't operate on themselves. But what's interesting is that you really can read for yourself. It has to do with separating yourself from the logical mind. And it does take practice, like anything. And then the information that you get, validation always helps with that. So not impossible for readers to read for themselves. Certainly it's easier if you have a third party help you with it. but I always recommend it's a good skill for us to all have. So hopefully this was helpful, kind of a very fast move through a number of topics as we try to kind of do here every week. Please remember to like and subscribe and share. It really helps the channel. When you press the like button, it really helps in terms of the algorithm of YouTube recommending the video to other people as they come onto YouTube. And when you share, that also helps. And also turn the notification bell. That way you'll know exactly when we upload videos. So again, when we reach the next 1,000 subscribers for this channel, that'll be at the 14,000 level. We'll announce a new winner, new half-hour session with myself. And it's been wonderful again, getting some time here to spend with you. And thanks again for all the things you do. I get all the comments, and it's wonderful. I really appreciate all the support, and sending out a lot of love to everybody out there. And thanks for hanging in there and joining the channel. So all the best to you, and we'll see you on the next show. Thank you.